You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We're a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, first-timer on Ron Siegel Radio. Steve Sims is with us. He's an author, got a new book out. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or a plan to save you money, I personally work with you even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. National Stress Awareness Day. I think I stress every day. But I guess when you do a radio program every morning, there's some stress involved in that. You got to make sure you have great content. But having beaten anorexia, you probably know what I'll be celebrating today. It's Deviled Eggs Day. Deviled Eggs Day. Yeah, let me see what the guys did with the picture. No whipped cream. Where's the caviar? You ever had deviled eggs? I love it when they put a little bit of caviar right on top of the deviled eggs. Put that over there. Reunion Kitchen and Drink. I go over there, get the deviled eggs, and of course, you can't miss out on the Tito's Martini with 3 blue cheese olives, please. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. Dow Jones Industrial Average down 49. The NASDAQ is down 109. The S&P 500 is down 19. And oil up $1.86 a barrel. But hey, you know something I heard? This fascinates me because, you know, the oil prices only went up because of Putin's war. Okay. But then I hear the press secretary say the president has a plan. I'm not sure what he has a plan for, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, let's take a look and see the wonderful gas prices here in the formerly Golden State. $5.52 a gallon is the average for the state of California. Josh, you're back there, $4.96. Jody's at $4.28 over there in Arizona. $3.53, Brittany. Really? I'm just looking at our team right here. And, of course, $3.28. Well, that would be Lori over there in Louisiana. But, hey, you know something? I think the president, he's going to have a speech tonight. Is anybody going to be listening? I doubt it. That's a whole different story. The World Series is on. And if you're listening to us as we record live Wednesday morning, I don't know if you're listening to us on radio and what channel, but we got to run Fed Watch today. We're going to see what happens with the Federal Reserve. They're going to be checking in to let us know, what are they going to do? Are they going to raise another 75 basis points? Well, the mole already told us that's what's going to happen. So we know that they're going up 75 basis points today. That is the Fed funds rate. Does that affect mortgage rates? Indirectly, if you have a home equity line of credit, it will affect your home equity line of credit. Credit cards, it'll affect those if they're adjustable rate. But mortgage rates, it depends on what the commentary is afterwards. So the markets will be watching every word that the Federal Reserve has to say, or the Chairman Powell says. Starting at 11:30 our time, they come out with their statement at 11 o'clock to tell us that they're going to raise interest rates, which I already told you what they're going to do. But at 11:30, he starts answering questions. And these folks that are listening to the questions in the media and the markets, every single word is parsed. Why did he say was instead of is? Or why did he say this instead of that? And the markets will jump on that. So we're going to watch that for you to see what's going on right there. because it affects your bank account. It affects, I heard some folks that are starting to charge family members to go to Thanksgiving this year. I mean, can you imagine that? I just heard that one this morning.
You know better than that.
I can't imagine doing that, but prices are up. One of these services came out and they said for a family of 10 to get together, not just your immediate family, but a gathering of 10 for Thanksgiving is about $55. I'm wondering where they go for Thanksgiving for $55 because I think our wine expense is more than that. I'm just throwing that out there, but $55, even without the wine, I think it's more than that. And this year, the inflation's gonna take a toll on what's going on. So we're gonna be watching all of those things because the president has a plan for inflation, and I'm sure after Tuesday of next week we'll hear what that plan is. I just heard this morning through a roundabout way. Now we've put all kinds of sanctions on Russia. Think about this. Guess where our gasoline is now coming from? Yeah, Russia. They send it to Italy. They have it refined there. They don't want to use American refineries. And that makes it an Italian product so it can come into the United States. Does this make sense to anybody? Am I missing something here that we're paying $18 billion for Ukraine to fight a war and we're going to sanction Russia and then we're going to buy goods from Russia? But we can't drill here. I'm just curious how that works. But hey, you know something? I am going to continue telling you that if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate, do you want to turn back the clock a year? Probably not, because you were frustrated. You could not get that new house that you wanted because there was too many offers. So now, and I just heard this yesterday, somebody was saying prices are going to drop, Ron. Well, what's the catalyst? Have you heard about supply and demand? Do you really think that there's going to be enough supply for prices to drop? No. Now, people are going to start, instead of looking for that $1 million median home price right here in Orange County, California, they'll say, maybe I'm only going to spend $900,000. Only $900,000. When I first bought my first house, I think it was like $175,000, something like that. But I digress. So think about this. You buy that house now, and I know interest rates are very high compared to where they were earlier this year. And I'll tell you in the next segment that OBMMI tells us that the rates locked yesterday at 7.053. But here's the issue. You can get a house right now. If you can afford it, and yes, look at our payment assistance plan so you get the interest rates down. But if you can afford it, buy the house now and refinance it in 6, 12, 18 months. Because historically, during every recession, real estate values drop. I'm sorry, the mortgage rates drop. Mortgage rates drop. So take action now and then just redo that rate. And you say, oh, Ron, well, you just say that because you lead a lending company and you want to do a refi. Of course I do. But it's good for you. That's the more important part. Why is it good for you? Because it might cost you a little bit of money to get that refinance done, but you get to save a lot of money over the long run. A 1%, I've been looking at this in our payment assistance programs. On a $900,000 home, 1.5% saves about $400 a month. Now, if it were to cost you $2,000, say, to get a refi, and I don't know what the number is, I'm just throwing this out there for educational purposes only. That means your break even is about 5 months. And I see you say, well, Ron, if you save $400 and it's 2,000, 5 months. Well, remember, part of that number is going to principal. So you don't get to count that exactly in there. But the bottom line is you're saving a lot of money. If you can save a lot of money and you get a 5 or 6 month break even, what would that happen? Think about this. If you're paying rent and if you're looking at a $900,000 house, rent on that's probably going to be right around $5,000 a month. In that same 5 month period, you've just spent $25,000. And what do you have to show for it? Receipts. That's it. No equity. So buy the property now and watch what happens. And I've told you this before. I tell you all the time because I look at the numbers all the time. The 63-year average for property appreciation, Orange County, California, So 63 years is a pretty good amount of time to say, I think that's a good history. Orange County, California, that means you're looking at a 5.39% appreciation rate. So think about that part also. So 5.39 and you say 6 months, that's about 2.5% is what you're getting there in appreciation. These are all issues that you have to think about because you don't get any of that appreciation when you rent. You say, Ron, well, I'm not going to be there for 63 years. Well, the 5-year historical number, 7.33. What are we forecasting? 4.16. Think about all those issues. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat about going for stupid. That might have been about me. I think they put my picture right there on the cover, Josh. The art of achieving ridiculous goals. I love that idea. I think I heard something about BHAGs once before. Similar concept. But we're going to talk to the author, Steve Sims, when we come back. We are also going to talk about selling your house before the holidays. Do you really want to do that? And as always, On the Town, brought to you by Visit Anaheim. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at RonIsMyLender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. RonIsMyLender.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. S&P 500 now down 24 points. But let's see what's going on in the markets and as a whole. So we're going to look at the 10-year Treasury, as we always do, down 1 basis point. Mortgage-backed securities are up 2 basis points, not really telling us a whole heck of a lot of anything. But OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Where are the interest rates really? Well, 30-year conforming yesterday locked at 7.053. The jumbos locked at 6.708. FHA 6.862. USDA for the rural areas and generally no down payment, 6.923. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it. You cannot just apply. You have to have earned it. The 30-year VA loan, 6.727. Why are the markets behaving the way they're behaving right now? Well, because nothing matters until the Federal Reserve comes out and tells us that they're increasing interest rates on the Fed funds rate by 75 basis points. Question is, what are they going to do in December and January? That's going to be the big issue. We have heard earlier this month, the Fed mole, Nick Timiraos, said that the Fed will likely use today's meeting to prepare the markets for a 50 basis point hike in December, which could be the first sign that the Fed might be turning around. Amazing. Can you believe they're finally going to realize that there is inflation and that the markets are slowing, that people are stopping doing different things? But we did see the ADP report. We got more jobs in the leisure and hospitality sector. The ADP report showed 239,000 jobs created in the month of October, stronger than expected. There was a negative 16,000 revision in September, which tempered the optimism a little bit. They also reported that annual pay for job stayers increased 7.7% year over year, while job changers saw an average increase of 15.2%, down from 16.2 2 months ago. I think I might have to change jobs. Holy cow. For whatever reason, almost all the job gains came from leisure and hospitality from the Pacific region. Most other areas saw job losses. This means that there was a weak breadth of job gains, especially in the goods sector, which showed losses. Nella Richardson, chief economist at ADP, said that, quote, there's a really strong number given the maturity of the economic recovery, but the hiring was not broad-based. Goods producers, which are sensitive to interest rates, are pulling back and job changes are commanding smaller pay gains, while we're seeing early signs of Fed-driven demand destruction. Surprise, surprise. It's affecting only certain sectors of the labor market, unquote. We've been talking about that. We didn't need them to go to ADP to get that, but you can just come to Ron Siegel Radio and listen for that. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So let's chat. That's always a good time when we get authors that come in. And I'm guessing, just because I've been lucky enough, Steve Sims, to be in the audience when you've done a speaking engagement, and I would guarantee nobody falls asleep.
Well, I hope not. If they do, I'll probably go and kick the chair.
There you go. Steve Sims, author of Go for Stupid. And I think what was it? Something about fish that I
Bluefishing. My first book was Bluefishing 5 years ago.
Oh, so that must have been right when I saw you. Is right after that came out.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, Todd Duncan. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your story, because you are a very, very fascinating individual.
I don't think I am. I'm just an aggravated one.
Okay.
I left school at the age of 15 in London, went straight onto my family's building site, and just kind of questioned, is this it? And I realized I was having conversations with broke people, so I went out to try and have conversations with rich people. Didn't go too well to start with, but I ended up working on the door of a nightclub. And so before Google, because I'm that old, I knew
right in here.
Yeah, exactly. None of us remember a time before that.
Yeah.
I just knew where all the best clubs were. And, I used that as a reason to get to talk to people with money. And I'd be like, hey, are you going to Ron's club on Thursday? And they'd be like, oh, I don't know how to get in. Go up to Ron, tell him Sim sent you. It'll cost you $100, but hey, you look after. And I did that. So the following day I could go, hey, did you have a good time? By the way, what do you do for a living? How do you do that? So if podcasts had existed back then, I don't know if I would have ended up being it, but I started off with that little kind of get you into nightclubs, getting you backstage at concerts, getting you on stage at concerts, getting you to meet and greet. And I went from that kind of stuff to working for the biggest events in the planet and the most affluent people in the planet, from the New York Fashion Week, Monaco Grand Prix, Formula One. I ended up doing quite a lot of cool things. In fact, Forbes actually ended up writing an 8-page article on me and called me the real-life Wizard of Oz.
Wow. They didn't call you Dorothy, though.
They didn't. I don't look good in a skirt. I ain't got the knees for it.
Well, this is California, so you never know. But so what gave you that thought? I mean, where'd you come up with that idea of, it's easy to say, okay, I understand the $100 part.
Yeah.
Especially if you did that, quite a while ago. Today, I don't know if 100 gets you as far as it did back then. But the bottom line, I mean, that's a brilliant idea.
Well, for a start, when people pay, they pay attention. That's the first thing. If I give something away for free, they're going to value it as that. So if I can get you into something, and I'm charging you a nominal fee. Now, of course, $100 back then, and we're talking about in the 90s, that work out the inflation. Maybe that was $300-500 now kind of thing. But I wanted to get your attention. But there's always been this funny thing that I wasn't in the business you thought I was in. My business was to have the conversation. I wanted to have conversations with Elon Musk, Larry Page, Bill Gates, Richard Branson. That's what I wanted. If I could do something for them in order to get that conversation, and I would charge them accordingly, but my point was to get the conversation, because then I would leave that room with the most powerful people in the planet advice, and then I could take that advice and I could implement it.
That's a brilliant way of doing things, right? I mean, it's just a matter of going and saying, something, how do I get to where I want to be? And then understanding, not only is it brilliant, but it takes guts.
It took guts, I suppose, and I don't want to palm it off, but it took ignorance more. You see, I was never scared. You see, today we've got so many social platforms where people are up on a pedestal and we go, oh my God, I could never talk to him. I'm scared. He's so important. I was a young kid with nothing to lose. So I would pull up on a motorbike, young, fresh, dumb, thought I was the toughest kid in the planet, and I was aggravated to learn. So I would just bulldoze in like a bull in a china shop. It wasn't so much that I had guts. I just had ignorance to how powerful they were. And I've got to admit, in some of the early stages, can you imagine me coming at you going, hey, how come you're rich and I'm not? It didn't come across well. So I had to kind of like temper that down and learn how to ask the question that would get me the answer I wanted. But it was an interesting period of just ignorance and just blasting through. And I had people afterwards going, how did you have a conversation with him? And I'd say something stupid like, I asked. And that was the thing that I couldn't get over. We were terrified of making that ask.
That's pretty interesting, because I would admit that would be me. I don't think that they're any better than me. They put their pants on probably one leg at a time, I'm guessing, and they go to the men's room or ladies' room and do the exact same things I do. But I look at it and say, something, I'm so introverted. That's why I do well on radio, because I'm talking to you and our 7 listeners. If you're old enough to remember that line, were you in California in the 80s?
I wasn't,
90s?
No.
Okay, so we had just a quick story. We had a radio DJ and top show in the LA market, and all he ever said was he had 7 listeners. So
right.
I think maybe I have 6. But the bottom line, but the thing is you had the nerve to go up and talk to somebody, because maybe it is like the ignorance. Why shouldn't I?
I remember I was in a pub in England, and I was with 2 of my mates, and we'd turned up on a motorbike, and we were in this little village pub, and in this pub was like the local hot shot. This was a guy that you knew the name, but you very rarely saw him. He actually owned the local grocery store and the local gas station. So he wasn't exactly Warren Buffett, but in our eyes, he was the king.
He was the man.
He was the man. And I remember I walked into this pub and I saw him there, the richest guy in the town, had everything, had the hot girlfriend, had the convertible car, which was always stupid in London, but he had all of this kind of stuff. And I said, oh, we should go and talk to him and find out how come, he's so successful. And so I walked up and I went, hey, how you doing? You don't know me, but I've heard you know. And I started talking to him, and he was going to the bar, and he turned around and he went, well, I'm trying to get a beer. Do you want a beer? And he bought me a beer.
Wow.
Now, here's the dumb thing. I thought to myself, this is a result. I haven't had to buy and beers mattered to me then. I knew exactly how much money I had in my pocket and how many beers I could have out that night. I'd just got a free beer. Now, being a good boy to my mates, I turned around to my mates to go, oh, do you want a beer as well? When I turned around, I realized they were at the other end of the pub, leaning up against a wall. They hadn't taken the chance to walk from there to where I was to start that conversation. And that's what amazed me. And that's what I realized straight off the bat. You get a no for every question you don't ask. And I had just simply walked up, asked. I'd already got a beer out of the guy. I can't remember what advice he gave me, but it had been a result and a gain for me straight off the bat. But the biggest lesson was actually from my buddies not making the movement.
Something that's a great takeaway right there, right? Taking a chance and being, and understanding that if you don't take the chance, you know exactly what you're going to get.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And and the trouble is people say, well, if I don't take a chance, at least I am where I am. You don't realize you're going backwards. because every time you don't take a chance, it eats away. A friend of mine actually said to me, the definition of hell is to meet the man or woman you could have been. And I don't want to not take those chances.
Wow. That's to be the man or woman you could have been. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. We're going to continue our conversation with Steve Sims talking about, and we'll get to his book, Go for Stupid. You can, when we come back, you can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Sell your house before the holidays. As you look ahead to the winter season, you're likely making plans and thinking about what you want to achieve before the year ends. One of those key decision points could be whether or not you want to move this year. If the location or size of your current home no longer meets your needs, finding a house that better suits your lifestyle may be a top priority for you. But with today's cooling housing market, is it really a good time to sell your house, or should you wait? If you're ready to make your decision, here are 3 reasons you may want to consider selling before the holidays. Number 1, get one step ahead of the others that are selling. Number 2, get in front of serious buyers this season. Number 3, seize a great chance to move up. Bottom line, if you're thinking about buying or selling a house, you can find a home that better suits your needs. Maybe that's the time right now. Don't delay. Give me a call, 800-306-1990. I will put you in touch with a great real estate professional in the sound of my voice. And if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, can I count on you to introduce them to me? That's the real-time real estate segment, again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Probably one of the fastest real-time real estate segments I have ever done, because I am more interested in chatting with our guest, Steve Sims, author of Go for Stupid. Now I don't even have to hold it up because our team, Josh, has it in the background already on the screen for us. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed. So tell me a little bit about the book, Steve.
It started off as an aggravation. I wrote Bluefish in the Art of Making Things Happen probably 5 years ago, which was kind of like, talking about how I met these people, how I looked on communication, how I built up relationships. And to be honest with you, didn't expect it to take off. And it absolutely did. It got translated into, I think, 7 different languages, bestseller all over the planet. And then as COVID hit, I suddenly started getting a little bit aggravated and bitter at how people were looking at COVID. People were wasting the time that they had been given. We now couldn't go out. We now had to stay with our family. We were given the chance to be able to evaluate where we were. And people were literally just texting each other, right, I've binge watched The Sopranos. How else can I waste my life? And it annoyed me. And so I started looking at how we can actually take where we are and add stupid goals, how we can go for ridiculous. Never the word impossible. Don't give it any value. Don't give it any fuel. So how can we come up with stupid goals and then achieve them? And something happened during COVID which really bothered me, really made me aggravated. The people we revere today, Walt Disney, Henry Ford, Elon Musk, Edison, Richard Branson, Larry Page, any of them, Steve Jobs, they had these ridiculous goals and they went for them and we now revere them. But when you're at a pub and your mate turns around and goes, oh, I hate my job. I'm going to launch this business and I'm going to scale it and I'm going to franchise it and I'm going to make $1 million by Tuesday, we instinctively laugh at them. And we've actually built up in our society today a gotcha and a cancel culture. And I think it's a cancer. And it's not just the media. Everyone wants to go, the media is the problem. No, we had this problem with Steve Jobs, Henry Ford, as I say, Edison, Walt Disney. We basically protested. Media today is just given a faster distribution. And that's what annoyed me. And I want people today, rather than laughing at people, I want us to support people. I'll tell you a true story. I was walking through SpaceX with Elon Musk. I had a couple of clients with me. One of the clients was just thrilled that he was walking next to Elon Musk. The other one, guy, he was like the Energizer Bunny. He would not shut up trying to get a conversation going with Elon Musk. I got to the point where I was thinking I was going to have to give him a poke just to shut him up. And he turned around and he said, how do you feel that NASA, and this was just before NASA became their partner, he said, how do you feel that NASA is publicly humiliating everything you say? And Elon turned around. He didn't even look at the guy. He said, you know something? They'll always laugh at you just before they applaud. And I realized today, we're not frightened of failing because, let's be serious, we get educated when we fail. When something goes wrong, we go, oh, that didn't work. How can I make it better? So failure is a good thing for us. But what would you do today if you didn't care someone was laughing at you? And today we actually stop in our tracks if there's the possibility that someone's videoing you or taking what you're saying out of context and ready to cancel you. And we're terrified of that. So what do? We do nothing. And that's what's bothering the hell out of me. That's why I wrote the book.
You know something, that's a great thought right there, because we do, you're spot on. Every time and if you read Steve Jobs' book, he says that exactly, is that people were laughing at him and they told him that he couldn't do what he was going to do. And all he did was change the world. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, you know, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, every one of us have a smartphone, you know, probably half of us have an Apple phone. He's created a whole culture. I've got 17 Apple products sitting here on my desk in the studio. How many do you have? Right. I mean, and Musk, I mean, you can't build an electric car. You can't go to the moon and reuse the rocket. You can't buy Twitter. I mean, I wonder what he can't do next.
Well, he started. I remember I heard that he was so aggravated that it took 5 days for him to transfer money from one US bank account to another. It wasn't like someone turned up at 5 o'clock at night and grabbed a carrier bag full of cash and ran across the road to the next bank. It was almost like an email. Then why were the banks holding on to it for 5 days? Because they could use it for 5 days. So he disrupted and created PayPal. He constantly was aggravated about something, did something about it. And now if he turned around and went, hey, I'm going to make a tablet that's going to make the entire ocean drinkable, you wouldn't scoff at it. You'd go, yeah, he's probably going to do it because he's done it so many times. But if anyone else had that idea, you'd laugh at them and you'd ridicule them. And 9 times out of 10, it's because you're scared they're going to do it and prove how inadequate you are.
Now, the question I would have when you especially going back to your story there, is the gentleman that was there and doesn't want to stop talking.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the presence of somebody that's changing the world.
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't you be better off listening?
I think nerves got to him.
Okay.
And I think that was the case. You know, he's a great guy. He's a very sharp guy. And here's the thing. He's a very affluent guy, but he wasn't disrupting. He was following and working different structures. And I think he was nervous. I know by the end of the event, let's be serious. He got that nugget out of Elon. You know, him being an annoying rabbit, he got that nugget. If he hadn't been so annoying, would have never heard that statement.
So I guess it pays to be the chatterbox.
Well, yeah, he wanted to engage into a conversation, and he certainly got a response.
Do you go when you started doing this at the pubs, going back to our last segment?
Yeah.
Did you do that with an end in mind, or did you do that as saying, you know, something, I don't know where this is gonna take me, but I'm gonna go on the journey?
Do you know the funny thing is that you actually just pointed out something that was absolutely beautiful on the last segment, which I guarantee most people didn't pick up on. You said you wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff because you're an introvert. I'm going to call BS on that. Okay. I'm an introvert. I play an extrovert very, very well. You've seen me on stage.
Right.
Okay. I play an extrovert very, very well until I walk off that stage, and then I have to hide. I literally have to hide and just get my senses back. You see, here's the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. An introvert will move with purpose. I'm going to go into that pub with my mates for a good night. If I see someone I need to talk to, I now have a purpose. I want to find out how I can be better. I want to get a conversation. Introverts don't care about being the center of attention. They care about moving the needle. An extrovert, hey, as long as everyone's looking at him and clapping, he'll stand there, tell a joke, and take his clothes off. He doesn't care. Okay. But an introvert, I will only go on stage. I will only coach. I will only teach. I will only do whatever I do if it moves the needle and serves a purpose. So whenever I walk up to someone, if I walk up to you in a room, can be guaranteed there's a reason for me doing it.
So do I have to know that reason? Did you know that reason in advance? I mean, do I have to have that planned out, or
no?
Or do I have to be quick on my feet?
You know simply that you're moving for this guy had more wealth than me. Okay, this guy was more successful. This guy was branded better than me. There was so much wealth of knowledge. I didn't know what nugget I was going to get out of it. And as I've already told you, all I can remember from it is I got a free beer, which told me that he was open to having a conversation with anyone. A lot of people aren't closed-minded. You always think, oh, why would they talk to me? I don't know anything. They want to have a different perspective. They want to have a different point of view. And bearing in mind, everybody today, and the big list that I've just walked through with you, all of those hugely affluent billionaires started off working in their garage and being poor. They want to have real conversations.
And you know, ironically enough, as you're saying that, Steve, it just hits me in the head that if they didn't want to have that conversation, they wouldn't have gone out that night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They've probably got a very nice home that they could have stayed in, or an office, or wherever. But if they didn't want to be amongst people, why would they have been there?
You see, the trouble is today as a society, we put people on pedestals. 90% and worse, because of COVID, we actually have a national pastime now of pulling people off pedestals. So no one wants to be on that pedestal. They want to be a normal person. They want to be a real person. They just happen to be exceptional in disrupting banking, disrupting computing, disrupting something. And if you're not disrupting, you're being disrupted. So they just want to get out and have that conversation.
So my key then is that I have to always be looking to how can I disrupt something?
100%. And the biggest thing you need to disrupt in life today is the way you look at things, the way you perceive things. Let me give you an example. Have you ever gone to a dealership and you've seen a color of a car in that dealership and you've gone, that's the weirdest color I've never seen. Who the hell would buy that color of a car? And then when you're driving down the highway, what's the only color of car you can see?
That color.
It's that color. When your mind is open to disrupting opportunities, what's the only thing you can see when you go to work the following day? So you've got to start by disrupting the way you perceive and receive information and opportunities. My old dad wasn't the smartest tool in the shed. Used to say the richest man on a rainy day was the guy selling the umbrellas. You've got to be ready to see the opportunity and then, more importantly, action it.
That's key right there. Is both of those, right? You have to have your eyes open and not say, well, my lot in life is X and I can never do any better.
That's what I'm trying to get. I've got a whole book here on Go for Stupid to get you to go for stupid goals. My stupid goal is to get you to action those stupid goals. I want people to be doing more stuff. I'm a kid that never finished school, kicked out at the age of 15, was a bricklayer in London and a doorman in Hong Kong. And now I've got a Rolodex that can basically call up anyone, including the Pope. If you think you've got excuses, look at me, look at my story, look at who I am, and that's going to kill all those straight out of the bat. You don't have any excuse for not be doing this.
Wow. The book is Go for Stupid, The Art of Achieving Ridiculous Goals. Steve D. Sims is the author. We're going to continue our conversation with Steve when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at RonIsMyLender.com. That's RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. You got to love live radio. So at least Josh gets to edit some of this before we go to the syndication. But on the town segment today, being brought to you by our friends at Visit Anaheim. When you're ready for that next adventure, Visit Anaheim. They give us a major event every week, a romantic event every week. I didn't even have my voice ready for that one. A family event of the week. Let's check them out. The major event this week, Unsung Brewery's anniversary party. Teleport to the 1980s and celebrate Unsung Brewery's 6th anniversary on Saturday, November 12th from 12 p.m. to midnight. Come dressed in the 80s attire and try Unsung's new beer releases, including Captain Crunch Beer, Blueberry Vanilla Sour, and Fun Seltzers. Unsung is located right across from the Anaheim Packing House in the Make Building. No RSVP required. For that romantic event of the week, Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp live in concert. Don't miss Jeff Beck's stop at City National Grove of Anaheim Tuesday, November 8th in celebration of the newly released, highly anticipated musical collaboration with Johnny Depp. Treat your loved one to dinner and some live rock music by the Yardbirds legend. Get those tickets at Ticketmaster. Family event of the week, Houdini Unchained exhibit at Museo. Experience Museo's new thrilling exhibit, Houdini Unchained, the legacy of Harry Houdini, on display in the main gallery now until January 23rd. Located in Anaheim's Center Street Promenade, this world premiere exhibit will include first edition books, personal letters and contracts, handcuffs, stage props, locks, and the famed milk can from the 1908 Escape Illusion. Get your tickets for the whole family on Museo's website. Yeah, that sounds like some fun stuff there from our friends over at Visit Anaheim on the town every week brought to you at this time so that you don't have to think about, and I'm good at not thinking, but don't have to think about what you want to do with your loved ones. There they are from Visit Anaheim. Continue our conversation. Steve Sims is with us. The Go for Stupid is the name of the book, The Art of Achieving Ridiculous Goals. And I hope you've been listening to our program this morning, and don't listen to Joe Ingram because he's on there and we just ignore him whenever we can. But the bottom line here is I've learned quite a bit, and I haven't even read the book. Now, I was talking to Steve off air. The book is available right now on Amazon and Kindle and your website.
Yeah, you can go anywhere. You can even just you can just search goforstupid.com.
Goforstupid.com. Okay.
Yeah, it's really easy to find.
Easily found, and we're chatting with the author. You know, I'm listening to you, Stephen. There's so much good stuff that you've just told me without me ever having read the book. It just makes it all that much more important. Like, I can't wait to. Right? I mean, just because.
Wow, what a ploy.
Yeah. Right? I mean, when you start learning about how you can go from, I'm not being degrading, but an average guy to doing some really amazing things because you're willing to take a chance, and not have some self-doubt. Right, I've taken that from our conversation about the book.
Yeah,
are you a big goal setter?
I never used to be. And I am a big goal setter now. But I'm not a 5, 10, 15-year goal setter. I'm a next month, 6 month, and year from now. I think far too many people look at doing things and they plan that, well, in 5 years' time, I'm going to do that. They lose traction in 6 months and they forgot what the goal is. So you need to have those goals brought forward. So I am definitely okay. And again, back to the introvert thing, what's going to move the needle? What's going to help me? What's going to help my growth? I'm a great believer that a lot of people are scared of trying. I'm scared of not trying. You know, like I live very well. I'm very happy. I'm very comfortable. But what if I didn't take a chance over the next 6 months? And I got to that end of 6 months as exactly the same person in the same place, the same mindset, the same, I don't know, bank account, whatever. I've just wasted 6 months. I want to have conversations. I want to get out. I look forward to coming down and having this conversation with you. And as you know, it's taken me 2 hours to get down there.
Sure.
I constantly want to push myself to try and experience new things. If you don't, then you become stationary, stagnant, and die. You know, and I don't want that.
So it's kind of interesting when you say that because you're basically living life, right? When you're saying I've got a 5 or a 10 or 15-year goal. Well, number one, we don't know who's not going to be here in 5, 10, or 15 years.
Yep.
And we're saying, okay, I don't want to go enjoy something tomorrow with my family or friends or business-wise, relationship-wise, goals or achievements. I don't want to do that right now because I'm going to be worried about what may or may not happen way down the road.
Well, COVID should have taught us that. If you're that dumb, COVID should have taught you that you have no idea what's happening next week. Because we were all, I remember I was up in Tarzana and I went to a Mexican restaurant, horrible Mexican restaurant, and then came home. First time I tried it, it was horrible. Never go back there again. Won't mention the name. Get home, and all of a sudden there's a news release going, by the way, tomorrow we're on lockdown. And I'm thinking, damn, my last meal was at a crummy Mexican restaurant. Now, had I known, maybe I'd have gone to a usual favorite. But the point was, we don't know what's going to happen next week. COVID taught us that. So you should enhance it and go, okay, what can I do this Friday? What can I do next Friday? What can I do next Tuesday? What's my goal in a month's time? You don't know where tomorrow's going, so don't take it for granted.
So are you big on, do you recommend people go and try and start their own business or go and do, move from this job to that job to advance? How do you get to that next end in mind or target?
So the first thing you've got to do is train your mind to be open to opportunity, and then you will see it. Okay. This could be like going down to a restaurant. Here's a funny little thing that's low risk that we started doing like 20 years ago. We did with our kids. Our kids hated it. Now they love it. What we will do is we will go to a restaurant, and you always go to the restaurant and you pick the usual 2 favorite appetizers, don't you? Pick one you've never heard of. It'll cost you $4. It may be the greatest taste you've ever had. It may be the most disgusting thing you've ever put in your mouth. And I've done this. I've been in countries and gone, well, I can't even pronounce that. That's an appetizer. Let's try that one, you know? And it's been the most god-awful taste I've ever had. But when you're open to trying new things, when you're driving home tonight, turn left instead of right and go a different route home. Try different. Here's another weird one. We've all got internet radio, okay? Scroll through the internet for a different country and listen to that music from that station for 1 hour. You know, you may be listening to Polish rap, you know, at 2 o'clock in the morning, but then you'll know what Polish rap's like. You are getting yourself educated. And none of those things risk your income. None of those things risk your livelihood, but your mind will suddenly go, okay, we're open to new things now. What's next? And then you can start disrupting your workspace. How can you do what you do at work easier, more clinical, more refined, and then eventually disrupt it by taking it on yourself?
Think about that concept, especially right now, because so much of us, especially those of us that are in the world of social media and politics and news, we're in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
So it really messes us up because then we've got absolutely nothing new to think about or learn.
No, we're in a world, we're not in a recession or depression. We're in a world of distraction and noise. Okay. Everyone's telling us how to feel. Everyone's telling us what to think. And it's too much. You see, as human beings, as we've evolved, and that's scoffable there, we want more stuff. We have an innate desire to consume as much as possible. Podcasts, apps. How many people have got apps on their phone that you've never even used, but hey, it was a new app. It was shiny.
I'm sure a lot.
How many people run out and buy the latest iPhone because it's a slightly different color from last year's? You know, you're still not using it to phone your friends, but we've got these weird kind of innate things in us that we want to consume this information. But our ability to retain information has never grown as fast. So when we go to something and we get so much come at us, and then we walk out of that and we're like, oh, what are you going to do? Oh, I don't know. There was too much for me to get a grasp of. So we need to slow that distraction down. We need to look at what we can control, what we can get involved in. And we need to ask ourselves, was this done for me or was it done to me? And actually start working with that purpose.
I have a friend of mine that says exactly what you just said. He takes it one step further, Steve. He says, and he's a coach in the mortgage world. And he says, in the next 2 days, I'm going to give you a dozen things that can make you money.
Yep.
Write them down, but only try one, because you can't do a dozen all at one time.
Nope, you can't.
Right. So try one thing that you really excites you, and then just do that well. Maybe next month you want to add something to it. But right now, just start with one bite of the elephant, one bite of the apple, and take it and make it work for you.
Yeah, and that's Elon Musk said, I want to do this, and I want to go up into space. And he looked at the space rocket and he went, what's the most expensive part of it? And they went, it's the fuel cells, because they go up once, they get blown off the side, and then they float around as space junk. Right. But if we bring them back and refuel them, we can use them again. That childlike curiosity. Now, we know it's not as easy as that, but hey, that's just the details. Start acting with that childlike curiosity and going, why can't I just do that? And then work out the details.
It's amazing when you think about that, because you talk about Elon Musk a lot, and the guy's just done so many things, but we don't even talk about the Boring Company, right?
Yeah.
Because it hasn't taken the way all these other things have. But is anybody betting against it working?
Oh, no. And he's got solar panels. He's got Skynet. He's got so many different things going on that, you know, he constantly wants to disrupt. And that's what he does. He's a creative disruptor. And I challenge anyone listening to this. What can you creatively disrupt? And it doesn't have to be your income. What about your relationship? How can you jazz it up a bit? We always hear these things about, oh, I'm losing the excitement in my relationship. Well, that's your fault. Stop looking outside. How can you creatively disrupt the relationship that you're in, the relationship you have with your friends, the relationship you have with your partners, your mentors, or even your business colleagues, or those business colleagues you haven't met yet? How can you be the person that they want you to be in that circle?
I think my key takeaway, because we're out of time, is disrupt.
Yeah.
That's the key word. What are you doing to disrupt? I'm going to say, if you're happy, if you've got everything in the whole world that you want, well, I'm glad for you, but there's probably more. Go buy this book. Go for Stupid. Josh is going to show it to you on the screen. Go for Stupid: The Art of Achieving Ridiculous. Steve D. Sims is the author. I really appreciate you coming in to share with us.
It's been a pleasure. I've had a blast. Thanks, pal.
As always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.